Adrian, over here! Hey! Yeah, coming. So, what's for lunch? Mostly soups, but there's like bread and meat if you want to make a sandwich or something. Did you redo your hair? Oh, yeah, my body wasn't quite fitting right after, DADA class, So, my hair is a really big source of dysphoria for me when it looks funny, and I just kind of wanted to look more like myself so I'd feel more like myself. So, Professor Snape helped me fix it. Did you skip a step? Usually you're a bit white up here for like 3 or 4 days. Did you decide not to bleach it this time? Oh, no, we did. It is bleached. You can't tell because he's charmed it. He'll take the charm off in a couple of days when I go ahead and dye it the no-maj way. But, I didn't feel like waiting 4 days to, feel like my body was my body again, So he just decided to speed it up a bit, is all. Oh, well, that was terribly clever of him. It certainly would cut down the time. Is there a reason you don't do it that way normally? I mean, wouldn't it be easier and faster and cheaper to just use a charm all the time? It's a sensory thing, actually. You know how I mentioned before at the World Cup that magic kind of vibrates, that each spell has a different sort of vibration? Well, the way this particular spell vibrates is really unpleasant, and it's right on my head, so it's really hard to ignore. It'll be fine for a couple of days, but if I had to do this every day for the rest of my life, I might choose to live as a squib. Yeah. Sensory overload's a bitch. I mean, you'll think you're fine, and then suddenly you can feel your fingernails growing. Which is not a pleasant experience, let me just say that. Oh. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, if one day I suddenly felt my own fingernails growing and I knew magic was the culprit, I might give it up too. Ooh. Can I sit with you all too? I don't mind if you sit with us. I'd really like it if you did. It's alright with y'all. Yeah, it's fine, I guess. Adrian's friend, so might as well sit with him. Us, I guess. Seat right over there. Well, aside from the buzzing, I suppose, do you at least feel better now? A bit more like yourself? Yeah, aside from being a bit tingly, I feel a bit better. Snape gave me like 3 big mugs of hot chocolate, insisted I drank them. I thought I was gonna be sick, and then he gave me anti-nausea potions. It was aggressive. But in a good way. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty alright, I really hope Professor Mad-Eye does not try to revamp that lesson. Honestly, I'm actually a bit disappointed I didn't get to attempt to resist it. I mean, would have been nice to know what it feels like in a safe environment, in case I ever have to deal with it, out in the real world. If you don't mind me asking, what does the Imperious Curse feel like? It sort of depends, really. I mean, the first time it happened, it just sort of felt like all the bad thoughts got locked away in, like, a box somewhere, and I was just in this floaty cloud of happy. And there was a little voice in the back of my head telling me what to do, and I didn't really see a problem with following its directions, and then suddenly class was over, and I was back to reality. But the more it happened, I could tell that the happy was fake. I wasn't really happy. I was just being forced to feel happy. So it felt wrong and scary. And then eventually it just sort of felt like I was getting locked inside my own head and I couldn't get out. So, not a pleasant experience, I would say, personally. Since we're asking questions, what does trying to resist it feel like? I mean, you passed out, so it can't feel good, but, you know, what's trying to fight against it feel like? It sort of feels like an occlumency lesson. Like, you're trying to resist a legilimens who's trying to read your mind, but it's a bit more intense, you know? A lot more at stake. Hold on, how do you know what an occlumency lesson feels like? Yeah, they're not teaching us legitimacy or occlumency in school. Not yet, anyways. If they teach it, it might be in 7th year, but I don't think they do that here. Do they? Snape started teaching me occlumency. So, it just sort of feels like a lesson with him, I guess. Why would he do that? Promise you won't be mad? Mm-hmm. They do this a lot. We don't actually know why.